This is activity 2.2 on page 61, highlighting text. We have my fact sheet formatting still open in Word. And our scenario, you are considering adding yellow highlighting to call attention to text in the first paragraph. Number 1, highlight a sentence. Press Control, Home, and this will bring you to the very beginning of your document. When you activate the highlighting tool, you should first make sure no text is selected so you don't inadvertently highlight the selection. On our Home tab, in our font group, we're going to select the drop-down arrow for text highlighting color. And the text highlight color gallery shows for us, so we have our different options of highlighting colors. And letter C says to select the gray 25% highlight color. Now if I hover over, this is gray 25%. Going to click to select that. Now, my opinion, this was an awful example to use for just learning highlighting colors, and I'm going to show you why. So the text that I now select will be highlighted in a gray highlight. You can see when I hover over text, my cursor has changed to a little highlighting image there. That tells me that my highlighter is activated. And also that my button is a darker gray. I'm going to need to take this theme off because it's hard to see that the button is activated, so I'll turn that off after I use this. But it is activated, and in the first paragraph of the document, it wants us to drag across the sentence, "Building with Heart enables volunteers to help families in need help themselves." So I can put my cursor right before "Building with Heart," and I'm going to click and drag all the way down to "themselves." It doesn't matter if you include the period or not. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that's highlighted now. And my button is still activated. Now, why do I think that was an awful example to use? That gray 25%, what does that look like? It looks exactly like when I select text, right? So of all the colors that they could have said to use in this activity, they chose one that looks like selected text. When some people are just learning how to select text, now they're learning to highlight text and they look the same. So I'm actually going to undo that. I'm going to choose a better color. I'm going to just choose good old yellow, and I'm going to highlight that. So you can go back and change that if you want to, just so you get a better idea. So isn't that a much better example of highlighting? I think so. Okay, so my button is still activated in my font group, and letter G in the first paragraph, it says to highlight the text, "Costs are kept low." So again, I'm going to click and drag over that, and it's going to apply that yellow highlighting as well. In the font group, select the text highlight color button and not the arrow, but the button itself, and that will turn it off. So if I hit just the button, now you can see it's turned off. When I'm hovering over my text, my regular I-beam is now shown. I'm going to go and turn off this theme real quick. Oops. I'm going to just switch back to colorful. So now you can see that the highlighting button is turned off. So when I chose my yellow, it was dark grayed out to show that it was activated. When I hit the button, it turned it off. So you can see that much better now. Now number 2 says to remove the highlight. Open the text highlight color gallery again and select no color. So by opening the gallery, I want to hit the drop down. I'm going to select no color. You can see that my cursor is back to that highlighter, but this time it's going to remove the color. So I'm going to drag across "Costs are kept low," and you can see it removes that highlighting for me. My button is still activated, so if I wanted to remove any more highlighting color, I could, but I'm just going to turn that off now and keep that highlighting on that one sentence. All right, we'll leave this file open for our next activity.